Hello and welcome everyone. At long last, Michael and I are going to, well, actually Michael's decision to start the Science is the New Religion script back up. We're looking at session 87. Michael, I know you got some real surprises and I'm just waiting to get in. So welcome, Michael.
Yeah, welcome, Brad. Hello, dear listeners. You see, you have to do some things differently, and we know that we had a long break in that series, but that series will continue, which does not mean that the conspiracy series will end. But as far as I'm concerned, I didn't have the time to finish the next script for the conspiracy series, and then I came up with the idea to continue this series where we have left off. In March, it was to announce that there will be a succession, that there will be sessions about this item. Of course, it's the atom, which is an item which is very fascinating to go into this, because we have used that picture here for the trailer of Science is the New Religion. So it was the logical outcome that we also talk about the atom. Why? Because this picture actually pictures the Atomium in Brussels. Brussels happened to be the capital city of Belgium, and also, if you would like to say so, it's also the seat of the European Union, which is not more than the European United States of Europe, or the United States of, yeah, what else to say? You see that Europe...
Washington, D.C. of the United States, Michael.
Yeah.
Same kind of deal.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, actually, Europe...
What would you say, Michael? Would you say it's the political epicenter of Europe?
Yeah, sure it is, because the European law is above the national laws. And the European government or European legislation is above the, so for example, the German or the Dutch legislation. And there's also European Parliament, which has not been elected by the people. Yeah, so it's a super government, or it's above the national delegations, the national governments here. And you have to take into consideration that the name Europe tells it all, because Europe comes from the Greek mysticism, which, when Europe was the secret lover of the head god called Zeus, which is the equivalent of the Roman head god Jupiter. Yeah, so it's the secret lover of the head of the pagan god. So that you know that the pagan god, who is the pagan god in the Bible? It's the god, it's Baal, as you would like to say so, or Satan, because every Baal and every kind of Nimrod is just an expression of the Antichrist spirit serving Satan. So the Antichrist, or the anti-god of this world, or the god of this world, actually, the god of this world is Satan, which is the god that the majority of people are serving. And so that Europe is the secret lover of Satan, because Zeus is just another name for Satan. It's a head god of gods who had never existed. No, there were not any gods at the Olymp, which is the highest mountain range in Greece. There were no. So that's the thing to know, that Europe means that's the secret lover of the pagan god of Zeus. Yeah. And this is Science the New Religion. This is called the Atomium. And this is installed since 1958 in Brussels, in Belgium. Very interesting, huh?
1958, really interesting.
Yeah. 1958, yeah. Not that long ago.
Yeah, that's not long after World War II. I'm trying to remember now. That's just 10 years after.
Yeah, 1945. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, in 48, I was thinking of, Israel and all that.
Sure. Israel, and also the foundation of the Federal Republic of Germany. Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, it's really interesting how this history really in modern times is a lot more controversial than it seems. You know, when you know the ancient history and you put together the modern history, just, yeah, interesting stuff, Michael. looking forward to learning what you're going to have to say here.
Yeah, that's the Atomium. Very interesting. We are going into the Atomium, and then, of course, we will discover what's all about this atom, because that is also a very interesting key item which has been educated in the school system, that it is a dangerous thing and that it is a tremendous energy in it. And we will look upon it from a biblical standpoint. Okay, that's the Atomium in Brussels. Okay, that's very interesting, because that does not look like an atomium, like an atom. If you type in here in Google, let's do it live. That's an atom. That's an atom. What an atom looks like, but that thing in Belgium does not look like an atom. So what's it all about? Actually, they tell you it's something to do with iron, huh? But it's called atomium, which is the combination of the words of atom and aluminium. So atomium. Okay. That reminded some visitor 2 days ago of another thing. I said that, oh, you have only to switch around the Kabbalah.
Right.
And I say, oh, yeah, that's an interesting look. So I just rotated that 180 degrees vertically, of course. Yeah. And then it almost looks like the Kabbalah. Huh? Almost. Yeah. Okay. We know there are 9 balls here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And you got here 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. But nevertheless, it looks very interesting from that perspective. So maybe it's also to serve pagan gods. And if you then know that the diameter of these balls are 18, I said, oh, that is no coincidence, huh? It's 18. Yeah. So it does not look like an atom, but it's a shape of its own, with 9 18-meter diameters. Stainless steel clad spheres are connected in the shape of a unit cell that could represent an iron crystal magnified 165 billion times. Yeah, that can tell me everything. Huh? But it's nevertheless 18 meters in diameter, which is 666. Anybody surprised? No. Yeah, 666 happened to be the number of the beast, the number of Vicarius Filii Dei, or the number of that strange disease. Very interesting, huh? By the way, in Europe, the average teenager is fully responsible for his actions when he is becoming an adult at the age of 18. 666. Yes, that's it. Former times it was 21. 3 times 7. Now it's 3 times 6. 666. Very interesting. That's the atomium. Everything to do with atomic. So atomium, atomic, these are the words of the 20th century. Yeah, it's very interesting when you go into the symbolism of it and when you think about all the things of radioactivity. Radioactivity, that's a symbol of radioactivity. Doesn't it look like a Trinity, Brett?
Sure. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and this is the symbol here for blind people in Germany, for example. I think it was a little bit similar. And this is a symbol of Mickey Mouse, just for the fun of it. Yeah. But it's looked like a trinity around the sun or something like that. Yeah, so this is the center, and around that should symbolize radiation or something like that. We cannot cover that in this session here. I'm sorry, because it's a lot of ground to be covered. But usually, atomic power has been seen as destructible and as the key thing to destroy the entire world. Yeah, so the one thing that beast fears, nuclear weapon attack from Russia, relevant to Ukraine and China war, I think that is absolutely a spoof, had nothing to do with the real situation. Yeah, we will go into this, but you see that is fear-mongering all over again. They fear you with all the atom bombs in the past, and now they are fearing you with some strange viruses and anything else. Yeah, so all the bombs, we will go into this in future sessions, but now not at the moment, because you see that we are talking about the atomic age. We are talking about the things that our fathers and grandfathers feared, that there would come an atomic age or an atomic war, so that the Russians would kill and send missiles to the US, and So this then is the atomic age or the atomic era. Since 1945, when they made the Trinity test, has something to do with Trinity, huh? Trinity was the code name of the first detonation of nuclear weapon, and there's a Trinity site, huh? I think I cannot miss it. Trinity site in New Mexico. Yeah, you say this is also donated, like you would say so. This has also been honoring pagan gods. I don't know if I can cover that here. Yeah, this is the site where the world's first nuclear device was exploded on July the 16th, 1945. And there is also something else to it. Trinity destroy. It's about destruction, huh? It's about destruction. I cannot remember now that there's a template on it, Brett.
Mm-hmm.
Destroyer of worlds, wasn't it? Destroyer of worlds. Destroyer of worlds. Now become death, the destroyer of worlds. Joseph Oppenheimer. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, the nuclear age began with the detonation of the world's first atomic bomb at the Trinity site. Trinity. Yeah, some can say that, it has nothing to do with religion, but there are just 3 atomic bombs. First in New Mexico, then in Hiroshima, and finally in Nagasaki. You can say that, but Mr. Robert Oppenheimer, director of the Manhattan Project, Los Alamos Laboratory, stated that he suggested Trinity perhaps from the poetry of John Donne. After the blast, he was said to have recalled the line from Bhagavad Gita, quote, "Now I am become death, the destroyer of worlds." You see, the destroyer is Apollyon in Revelation 9:11.
Yes.
Huh? Yeah, but Bhagavad Gita, these are so-called holy scriptures from the Hindus.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it's like I said, it's a pagan god once again. It's honoring pagan gods. Hindu scripture. Pagan gods. Let's get back, because we are just sorting out the facts, what will come in these sessions here. Because this atomium has not much to do with the atomic structure, because there are so many atomic structures out there, and you see that I don't think that it's a coincidence that these balls have a diameter of 18,666. Yeah, once again, this in the correct view from the surface here, from the level surface here. And on top there is, as far as I can remember, there's a restaurant, and this is in Brussels once again. So Atomium, what do they tell you? Where is English? This iron, by the way, does not look like it, huh? Does not look like it. Does not look like it also. So the atomium has a very interesting shape. And there are also, in the German part, I discovered there are 180 windows spread.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so 18 once again.
Oh, yeah. Wow.
Yeah. So then we will switch to the English text. It's a landmark in Brussels, Belgium, constructed for the 1958 Brussels World Fair Expo 58. The most popular tourist attraction, and serves as a museum, an art center, and a temple of the muses, museum like the Texas Schoolbook Depository or Texas Schoolbook Museum. Yeah, so it's a museum. It's a cultural place. So they have a cult there. Cultural, yeah, a cult place. With 18 meters stainless steel clad spheres, sure. Okay, so that's a combination of the words atom and atomium. And the atomium was built for that purpose of the World Fair. It's like the Eiffel Tower, who happened to be built for the World Fair in 1870, 1818 somewhere, I don't know. I'm not too lazy to look it up, really, sorry. Yeah, so, but I don't want to bother you with meaningless things. It's just that this serves also the purpose that everybody knows. Oh yeah, that's an atom. It's very important. And in Germany, we had in the 1970s, we had a movement that people were against use of atomic power because of its lack of safety. And they had a sticker upon the cars, mainly Volkswagen Beetles in that time, Atomkraft nein danke, which means atomic power, no thank you, which is almost the same today that no thank you. Yeah, that's another item here. Huh? Yeah, and also the dictatorship, no thank you. Yeah. But the real problem is that it comes, this thought of atoms being small particles actually comes from the Greek Roman antique. The guy is called Democritus, and this happened to be here the German part. Not that I would intend to start the series in German, because I don't have any time.
I remember there was a video on YouTube about Democritus. Yes.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
Where is the English part of it? My. So English, once again, please. Yeah. And it has to do with atheism in the broadest sense as an absence of belief in the existence of deity. So it's the absence of belief in Jesus Christ. So it's Antichrist. And it comes from the ancient Greek word without gods. You know, atheism means without God. Yeah, where is the atom in it? Look here. Classical antiquity. Western atheism has its root in pre-Socratic Greek philosophy, but atheism in the modern sense was extremely rare in ancient Greece. Pre-Socratic atomists. An atomism is a natural philosophy proposing that the physical universe is composed of fundamental indivisible components known as atoms. So that is a natural philosophy.
Yeah, you got that right. Indivisible is correct.
Indivisible, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Natural philosophy, oh yeah, somebody is coming up with natural philosophy. Yeah, I can't help it, sorry, but...
right.
That's that guy. Roger Joseph Boscovich, Societas Jesu, a theory of natural philosophy, which happened to be the book that Nikola Tesla so proudly presented in that very famous picture. Yeah. My inventions. That is the book here, Natural Philosophy of Roger Boscovich. So he was studying Jesuitical natural philosophy, among other things, but that's what it comes down to the nitty-gritty here, which means that's a part of atheism. These are pre-Socratic atomists, such as Democritus, that's the guy here, before Socrates, for his formulation of an atomic theory of the universe. Yeah, theo means God. Yeah, theory, so the first part, T-H-E-O, means God. Attempted to explain the word in a purely materialistic way. Yeah, isn't that the same, Brett, as the Big Bang and the evolution theory?
Sure.
A purely materialistic way. And interpreted religion as a human reaction to natural phenomena, but did not explicitly deny the God's existence, and some scholarship had recognized the rational theology in his thought. But you see that either you explain the word in a purely materialistic way, then it is without any gods. Yeah, so it's atheism. Yeah, but Democritus usually is attributed with the idea of an atom being a particle that the world is full of, so that everybody or everything, every matter can be divided into atoms. And these are the so-called pre-Socratic atomists. It's a natural philosophy. So it's an idea. It's first of all nothing but an idea, like the theory of gravity, like the theory of evolution, etc., etc., etc. So it's very interesting, but because it was way before Jesus Christ appeared on the earth, that these natural philosophers thought that there were atoms. So it's not a new invention from 1940 or something. It is an old ancient Greek Roman invention or idea. It's nothing else than that. Yeah. So that is Demokritos. I think personally that there were way more people before Demokritos, but allow me that I don't think that it is such an important matter. You see that if you think that your universe has been made out of a materialistic worldview, then you simply don't need any God, and you get rid of God. And that's also one of the key issues of modern so-called science, or science so-called. Yeah? Yeah, and people were describing the things on matter and denied the existence of the gods. Yeah, what is the situation in 2022? Yeah, that people, even the physical body of people, has been seen as pure materialistic. Yeah, then you can get away with ethics, then you can get away with morals. Yeah, you can wash everything away. But if you see the man simply as a laboratorium or as a bunch of organs that you can play with, or that you can deal with actually, or that you can buy and sell. We happened to talk about that some sessions before, in that session here on the session Science is the New Religion. Drawing on the ideas of Demokritos and the atomists, he espoused the materialistic philosophy according to which the universe was governed by the laws of chance without the need for divine intervention. See scientific determinism. Yeah, without the need for the divine intervention. That's the sole purpose, I think, Brett.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Yeah, get rid of God. Yeah, to get rid of God, and that man can be like gods. Yeah, you don't have to follow any commandments. It's purely Satanism. Yeah, do what thou wilt. Yeah, that's the same. If everything was being created out of chance, out of luck, or what else by random, then there are just the laws of physics to apply, but it's not the commands of God. Yeah, so the killing of people would be absolutely okay when you think it's just that people, or if you think in the hemisphere of natural philosophy, if you think that a man is old enough, or a man is weak, a man is ill, then it's just you see it as matter, but not as a divine creature. And so, to serve the sole purpose for a mammon-driven society, there's no need for divine intervention, because everybody can be God. You don't follow any commandments, but the first commandments, or the highest commandment of Satanism, which is do what thou wilt, not what the others want, do what thou wilt. Because if there is no God, there is nobody who can judge you. And you can expect the outcome if anybody would be in the satanic spirit and says that I'm doing what I'm going to, I'm doing what I would like to. Oh, I don't like you. No, so I don't know. I will crash your car or what?
Right. That's how the world works. I don't like your view of Christ, nor do I like your view of Antichrist, because the Bible clearly tells us what the spirit of Antichrist is.
Mm-hmm.
Clearly. Wasn't in 1 John, I think.
The spirit of Antichrist is still in the working, or still present. The spirit of Antichrist. It was the 1 John, absolutely, Brett.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
I don't have it in front of me at the moment, but I can
No, you don't
grab it.
No, you don't need to, but I know that is 1 John. I'm absolutely sure that is 1 John.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I know that it was spirit.
Antichrist, yeah.
Yeah, or just it's more easy to go with Antichrist.
Absolutely.
Or 2 John.
There we go.
2 John or 1 John 2:18.
There's both, yeah.
Yeah. Even now there are many or would you like to read?
Yes, little children, it is the last time. And as ye have heard that Antichrist shall come, even now there are many Antichrists, whereby we know that it is the last time. Yeah, that's 1 John 2:18. But there's also one that clearly defines what the spirit of Antichrist is. I think if you search Antichrist and spirit, both words, you'll find it. The spirit of Antichrist. And that's essentially anyone that doesn't see the divinity of Christ as being divine and seated at the right hand of God the Father.
Mm.
That's essentially what that is. So I think, you know, it's very revealing when you ask someone that question and they answer you, well, Christ doesn't exist, and you know they're a spirit of Antichrist.
Mm. Yeah, without the need for a divine intervention. Yeah, by the laws of chance. Yeah, what kind of laws are that? Laws of chance. Yeah, right. The meaning of atheist changed over the course of classical antiquity. Early Christians were widely reviled as atheists because they did not believe in the existence of the Greco-Roman deities. It's very important here that they just switched the names. Yeah, you see that the middleman figure from Daniel is just the same concept. They are just pagan rulers, according to 1 Samuel 8, for example, or of course according to Daniel, Book of Daniel 2. But these are just a switch of names. Yeah, from Zeus to Jupiter, but it's the same. During the Roman Empire, Christians were executed for their rejection of the Roman gods in general and the imperial cult of ancient Rome in particular. Yeah, and now you got Rome as the head seat of so-called Christianity. I never came across the fact that I found that suspicious even when I was young, very young, 10, 11 or 12, that it was not Jerusalem, the capital city of the so-called papacy, but Rome. Because I thought that, oh my, that's very strange, because I thought that Rome were the arch enemy of the Jews.
Yeah. Well, I think there's something there, Michael, because you have two different, if you will, two different Jews as well. You have those that adhere to the religion of Judaism, and you have those that do not. So, you know, we know about Jewish mysticism. That's the Kabbalah.
Mm-hmm.
And we know about other traditions in Judaism. So, yeah, it really comes down to a personal level, you know, how you apply. It's just like being a quote unquote Christian today and believing in the rapture or something like this. It's you know, what they teach today is certainly a lot different than what they taught at the time of Christ. And you know, that's the big difference is how do we revive and how do we restore our faith? And those are big questions that we all need to try and address and answer in our own research. But yeah, I think it's fascinating. We have these philosophers coming from pre-Socratic Greece, laying down this law about
the laws of chance.
Yeah, the atomist. Yeah, that's
atomist. Yeah,
that's a purely materialistic way of looking at our existence, our creations, so to speak. Because when you are an atheist, you really don't believe in a creation. It just is more of an existence. You know, it's purely materialistic.
Yeah, of course, because in Luke 4 and Matthew 4, we read that all the material things are belonging to Satan and that he can deceive us into striving to serve the mammon instead of God. And what are these atomists doing? They're telling you plain and simple that there is no God. Everything can be explained in a materialistic way. Yeah, of course, that's a satanic way.
And that's the same as saying those that are born of the flesh are flesh. and
Yeah,
those that are
absolutely.
born
Yeah,
of the
spot on.
Spirit are
Yes, yes.
spirit. It's
Yeah,
the
thanks
same
for.
thing.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's just a different way of saying it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's really, really very important that you made that point. Yeah.
And also with natural philosophy, you know, the natural man, also, you know, if we look that up, I just looked up that that passage, 1 John 4:3, and it says, "And every spirit that confesseth not that Jesus Christ is come in the flesh is not of God." Yeah, 1 John chapter 4, verse 3.
Yeah.
Yeah, so and every spirit that confesseth not that Jesus Christ come in the flesh is not of God, and this is that spirit of Antichrist, whereof ye have heard that it should come, and even now it is in the world. That's right, and we're speaking of the time where Jesus Christ walked the earth shortly thereafter. So,
yeah. Now we already know, Brad, that these atomists and this is natural philosophy against the existence of God.
yes.
Yeah. So you know what this is a concept. It has nothing to do with 1945 or something like this. This is pre-Roman even. Yeah. So hundreds of centuries before Christ was born.
Pre-Socratic even. So
yeah, it is a concept more than 2,500 years old.
But
they're using that name.
Socrates they're making reference to?
Yeah, pre-Socrates. Yeah, and we can look it up.
So
when Socrates was
Socrates
allegedly living, you know, nothing is certain.
That's right.
469 before Christ or 400 for Christ. So it is a concept which is 2,500 years old.
That's right.
It states pre-Socrates, so before. Yeah. So before.
You know, it's interesting when we speak of Rome, because wasn't the actual establishment of Rome as old as Socrates then? Rome's been around 2,500 plus years, from what I understand.
Yeah, it was founded 753, I think, before Christ.
Yeah, see how ancient Rome is. Very, very, very old, and went way back to these times where they were coming up with these philosophies and rigid belief systems and the Antichrist spirit. I mean, we could say that this is the fruit from the metal man image even, couldn't we?
Yeah.
In the book
and
of Daniel.
And everybody's accusing the other party for being heretics. Now you see that there was, however, a heavy struggle. Yeah,
that's correct.
There was, however, a heavy struggle between Christians and pagans, in which each group accused the others of atheism for not practicing the religion which they considered correct. When Christianity became the state religion of Rome, beep, 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 beep. Yeah, Christianity never was any official religion anywhere. Yeah, so that was not Christianity, that was Roman Catholicism.
See, there you go.
Yeah? Theodosius, you see, in Theodosius, it's also Theo, which is God.
But I think everyone knows, Michael, that that's how Antichrist works, is he wants to take the place of Christ in order to dethrone Christ from his rightful place, in showing you that, see, we're a pagan church and we own Christianity. And they have forced it. You know, it's like being forced to take something you don't want to put in your body, Michael, like they're trying to do today. Same thing. Very dangerous.
You see, theory, when you type in theory, they tell you, it's from 1590s, a mental scheme, from Latin theoria, and from Greek contemplation, looking at is spectacle. Theater is also being mentioned here, but you see, actually, it comes from the root theo, and you see what theo is. Come on, no, you don't fool me. So Word forming element meaning God, gods, and God. From Greek, theos means God. So that's your theory. It means is an idea of God. And if their theory is about natural philosophy, then their theory excludes God. But it has something to do with God because natural philosophy is their God. You have to believe in everything. You have to believe in anything. You can't believe in nothing. Either you believe in God or you believe in matter. But if you believe in matter, there's also a belief. It's a religion. And it's the religion of Antichrist, because if you don't believe in God, you don't believe in the Son of God, of course. It's always the same.
Sure is.
And if you have not believed in the Emperor of Rome, because the Emperor of Rome was not only the Emperor, but also was God, the Pontifex Maximus, the bridge builder, then you're in danger, because then you were a heretic. So don't come up with the idea that in the Middle Ages people were persecuted because of reading the Bible. No, in the early ages also people were persecuted because they did not believe in the divinity of the Roman Emperor. And Christianity never was the state religion anywhere. Especially not in Rome. Yeah, that's what they fool you into believing that Roman Catholicism has anything to do or anything or the smallest bit to do with Christianity, which it hasn't. Yeah, you see, the Christian or Christmas festival was actually the Saturnalia, the feast of Saturn. Yeah, or time, Chronos. Yeah, that's where some king for a day was then sacrificed. Ask Mr. Christopher Lee, he knows it all. What's the name? I cannot remember the name, but if I know what it is, what his biography has been called, because we did so many sessions about that biography. What was it called?
Oh boy,
Lord of Misrule. Yeah,
Lord of Misrule.
Lord of Misrule. Yeah, and you look upon Lord of Misrule. That's the pagan feast where people were sacrificed, slaughtered, killed.
King for a day.
King for a day. Yeah. Actually, king for a week when it comes down to this Saturnalia, for a certain amount of days. But yeah. So that is the atomist idea of the materialistic universe, Brad. And the strange thing is when did I interrupt you?
No, not at all. No.
Okay. When you think about the atom consists of the nucleus, which is the core, and then around that is just the proton, the neutron, and the electron. So without the core, it's just three things surrounding the core. 1, 2, 3. Nothing to do with Trinity, but you see, it's just to show you what it's all about. That is the core, or the center, and this is a circular object. What was a circular object in the sky?
Nucleus.
Yeah, no. I think that if you look upon symbolism, you could also say that, oh yeah, this is a centrical worldview, that something is in the center, and usually nowadays it's the sun in the center.
Oh yeah, you're talking about centrism, or you have heliocentrism, and then you have what is the other one now? Geocentrism, of course.
Yeah, geocentrism, yeah, I can't help it, but I think
you can't have both. That's right. It's either one or the other, And it's obvious to me, Michael, through all the studies we've done, that geocentrism is what the Bible is teaching us.
Yeah, absolutely spot on. But doesn't that look like an orbit of a planet here? A planetary orbit?
Oh, yeah. But the problem is, when you have all three like this is more of a not a planetary, but more of what would you say, different, whatever, satellites or something like that.
Yeah, but you see about the size of the things, the nucleus in the center, in the middle, in the spot here is much more
larger.
big. It's larger than the other ones.
Absolutely.
So this is dominant here.
So everything revolves around the largest object is what they're showing here.
Yeah, that's the same thing as in the solar system. What
So
they're telling you, the people.
A neutron and electron, was it?
And a proton, yes.
And a proton, thank you.
Yeah. So that's pure symbolism. And that's also pure symbolism because everything revolves around a circular object. And we know that in a circular object, usually it was the sun. As in the old pagan systems, it is the sun. And it is until this very day. Yeah, this is a symbol for radiation, and that's not part of this session, of course. It would just be too much because this is not the cause of anything here. We are just at the moment, we are on the roots of the world and where all the philosophy comes from. It's from the natural philosophers, atomists. Yeah.
Yes, the natural
so what
philosophers.
So what does the... I would really like to show the book of Tesla. Book Tesla reading. Come on. Oh, it's incorrect because it says Tesla reading, not Tesla. I know that there was a typo. Yeah, but he's reading that book here of Jesuit Roger Boscovich in front of a large inductor coil. And you see that that's also the book where from the same author, which is the absolute origin, as far as I'm concerned, about Albert Einstein. So it is very interesting. We did that sessions about from Einstein to Tesla and all the things. And I don't want to be repetitive here, but it's very interesting that this is natural philosophy, which is absolutely excluding God, because it explains everything in the materialistic way, that you can be so smart. And yeah, when you think about that, Tesla came from clerical parents. Oh, that's very interesting. But, and there's a big but now, we have to sort out the words first. So what does Etymological Online tells us? They tell us that in the late 15th century, atom was being seen as a hypothetical, indivisible, extremely minute body, the building block of the universe. So it's matter which created everything, the building block of the universe, from the Latin atomos, indivisible particle, nucleticus as source been given here. From Greek atamos, so atom os, uncut, indivisible, so uncut. So you cannot part it into smaller particles. And that's also where it comes down, also the other parts of the name, atomies and atomic, etc., etc., etc. And of course, atomic age is from 1945, when they had allegedly the first nuclear explosion. Atomic clock is from 1938. Very interesting when you know that the so-called inventor is a German guy coming from Frankfurt, and he has received an honorary degree as an order of the British Empire. As a German. Yeah, and he was the one who was being referred as the father of nuclear chemistry and godfather of nuclear fission. Yeah, so once again, the Germans are to blame. And of course, he received what? Yeah, look at this. Lise Meitner and Fritz Strassmann discovered nuclear fission, for which Mr. Hahn received the 1944 Nobel Prize for Chemistry. Why? Because it is a destructive force. Nuclear fission was the basis for nuclear reactors and nuclear weapons. So we will go into this. Nuclear fission was the basis for nuclear reactors and nuclear weapons. Yeah. We got a very big problem with that, and I'll show you why. Yeah, you see that when we are talking about atoms, I thought that is very interesting because that in the word anatomy, there's also an atom in it.
Right.
Yeah, so when our body is consisting of very, very small, sorry, not smart, I hope it's smart also, small particles, it's very interesting that anatomy also covers atom, although anatomy means dissection, cutting up. But it's also Greek. I thought it was very interesting. Would not go down that path because it would exceed our little study here. But yeah, the study of knowledge of the structure and function of the human body means anatomy. in French, in Latin, in Greek, in English. I thought, okay. Or anatomy, yeah? You see, an atom. An atom. You see on that page here, sciencing.com, particles smaller than an atom. It can't be true because the explanation of an atom is that it cannot be divided. Wasn't that true? If you go down to the etymology online, then I type in atom, and what I have read before has now been displayed here.
Late 15th century.
Indivisible. The indivisible particle. And now we learn that there are even smaller particles than atoms. Yeah, they're called protons. No, sorry, that's the. They're called, for example, quarks. Yeah, quarks represent the smallest known subatomic, so smaller than atoms, particles. But, and it's a big but, yeah, just wait next year or next decade or what, and they will discover even smaller particles. Wasn't it the Swiss laboratory called CERN that they are searching the God's particle, Brett?
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah, the God's
the
particle.
Higgs boson or whatever, yeah.
Can it be that is impossible because we know that the atom is a natural philosophy excluding gods? The Higgs boson, yeah, the God's particle.
Yeah, and how long have they been doing this?
Well, at least that book was been published in 1993, as far as I know. The theory is coming from 1964.
They've been at this for a long time.
Yeah, I know, but you see, these are subatomic particles. These are smaller than atoms, which means that the word atom is really inappropriate.
Yeah.
It's inappropriate. They thought that the atom consisting of a nucleus in the center and then protons, neutrons, and electrons would be the smallest indivisible part or parts of the galaxy, universe, body, and of everything of material. But now I've learned there are quarks, and now I learned they are looking for the Higgs boson particle, which is then the so-called God's particle. Which God they are talking about? They're talking about the God of the material things, huh? Which is Satan once again. They're seen as a God. He's not a God. He's a created being, of course. He's a spiritual being. He does not consist of matter.
That's true.
Although maybe he can materialize if God allows. You see that? That's not my cup of tea. But you see, they are doing such strange things there with open gates and all the things to see in the 1993 book, The God Particle by Nobel laureate Leon Lederman, etc., etc. So they're searching for smaller parts, subatomic parts, which means that their old theory of 2,500 years ago, plus minus, is false, because there are subatomic particles, like quarks. So you see, that was just a theory, but it did not prove. Right, yeah, so quarks.
So what's the difference between quarks and quacks?
Yeah, you see that I would not go into this nitty-gritty because you see that is the current truth. Yeah, but it's not necessarily the truth. That is just science, so-called. Yeah, you can't prove it. Can't prove it. Yeah, they will tell you that they have invented the electron microscope in 1930 something, 1935 or so. And then they came up with the atomic thing, but you see that now
that's
they have...
ringing familiar to me, Michael. There's something very similar in a spiritual sense that is parallel to this and that you cannot prove. And that is, what was that called again? No, not a you know, when you have no faith at all, you're an atheist. Okay, so then the next step is agnosticism, where you cannot prove the existence of God in the spiritual sense. It's simply either you have faith or you don't. You know?
There will come up so many explanations, and the problem is that these are just fallible men. And you see, it goes much more further than that. It goes to antiparticle as anti-quark. Yeah, you see, nothing is more farther from the truth. But you see, the absence of matter is just no matter. And it doesn't matter because
right.
Yeah, because from nothing there cannot come anything. Yeah, 2 times nothing on nothing multiplied by nothing is nothing. It's still nothing.
It's interesting. You have the antiparticle called an antiquark. You also have, you know, Antichrist, which is taking the place of Christ. So then you have a particle, and then something taking the place of the particle, or what? Why do they use the term anti? Why not use how about positive and negative, like proton and neutron? That makes a lot more sense.
Yeah, the thing is though that they are bound to their Greek-Roman system. You see that these languages, the scientists, they are using the old words. They are using the old language. Yeah, these are just a bunch of professions nowadays who are using the Latin language very prominently. These are lawyers, known for their decency and truth. These are doctors, known for their decency and truth. And these are scientists, yeah, known for the same. I'm not making it up, but you see that you will find it everywhere. How in justice systems they are justice comes from Justitia, the old Roman goddess. Yeah, and this a Hippocratic oath and all the things. These are just thousands of years ago, but they are still in place. They are still intact. They are still being taught. Of course, nowadays you got also the metaverse, yeah, where everything is clinical and everything is artificial. And of course, you got so many things coming out of the Einstein way of so-called thinking of philosophy, like antimatter or black holes, yeah, and space-time curvature and all the things, yeah, something which nobody can prove. Yeah, it's just a belief system. It is a belief system. You cannot prove it. You cannot say that. Okay, just wait. I'm just flying to the outer space, and I just make a short picture. I'll be back at 5 o'clock. You can't prove anything. It's just a belief system that they tell you. Oh yeah, there are black holes, which is the largest and the most explosive matter in the entire universe. You see that then you believe in the black hole as your destroyer of the world. It's Apollyon once again. It's just a satanic concept. This world has been created, yeah, so out of love, yeah. Creation means that you want to create something, you want to achieve something. Yeah, not destroying. Destroying means that you destroy something which was there in the first place. But to have an idea to create something means that you have to have an idea first, and then you have to have matter, and then you combine everything, then you have spirit and matter, then you have the heaven and the earth. Yeah, it's mind over matter every time. Yes, matter cannot think for himself. Matter cannot create anything.
Well,
the computer cannot create anything.
Michael, it's getting closer to explaining the true dichotomy that we face. Because it's a creation as well as being a system that is void of any divinity at all. Actually, people are bound to that spirit of Antichrist that is spoken of in the prophecy of the book of Revelation. When they behold the beast that was and is not and yet is. See, this is something we cannot change. that there are vessels that have been created for honor and those that have been created for dishonor.
Mm-hmm.
And when the vessels of dishonor figure out the truth behind that, the only thing they can do is desire to kill those that have the mark of Christ.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where we get the Inquisition. That's where we get the wars and the rumors of wars and the fear of man, which brings a snare. All these things, they all revolve around the denial of Christ, the denial of his majesty and his honor and his glory. And rather, man wishes to take that crown for himself, and he does it through very, what should we say, satanic ways.
Yeah, you see that when you receive a Nobel Prize, then you are, in my humble opinion, kind of a supreme being. Yeah, you're not a brother or your sister anymore. You're something special. You received a Nobel Prize, and that means that you are sophisticated, that you made an invention which is absolutely spot on and usable for mankind. And you see that when that atomic particle was being so-called discovered, Mr. Otto Hahn received a Nobel Prize in 1944. But then it was the quark model, a model proposed, yeah, in 1964. And after that, it was the Higgs boson particle, which is so-called the God's particle. Yeah, you see, it was 1964 also been realized, and then it was been a book written in 1993, and we don't know what kind of so-called truth there is in 2 years or 10 years, because that is what science is. It is they're just coming up with new fancy stuff and new ideas, but
well,
it's just
This is what I'm getting to, Michael. It's an antagonist, and by definition in the old dictionary here, an antagonist is one who contends with another in combat, used primarily in relation to the Grecian games.
Mm-hmm.
So we go back to ancient Greece here, an adversary. So yeah, the adversary. So everyone has an adversary, Yeah,
and you see that they even received their prizes, yeah, for their theoretical predictions. Yeah, how hilarious! So this isn't a thing which can be proven. It's just our theories. Yeah. So
yeah,
that
but
means
it serves the scientific purpose.
it serves the purpose that you see these scientists as your gods, or the replacement of gods, the anti-gods.
Yes. It is Antichrist. In essence, it really is Antichrist. It's a creation of that metal beast image.
Yeah, theoretical predictions. You see, Theo means God.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah, so atom, and I just couldn't help it, and I said atom. It sounds like Adam. Yeah, what does Adam mean in the etymology? Adam means the first man. Actually, it means also ground or mankind in general. Yeah, that according to, of course, etymology. No, we're talking not about the Bible. According to mythology, it is the biblical name of the first man. The first of the human race, or humans, yeah. So, of course, that's the Adamites mean then the descendants of Adam. Pre-Adamite means the one who lived before Adam. This is a very favorite theoretical concept of people trying to mock the Bible that there was a creation before. It's also in many religious cults that there were Atlantis and all the stuff. Yeah, and there was a demiurge and all the things. Yeah, I'm not going into this now, but you see that is of course anti-Christian, because the Bible starts with the first man being created on the sixth day of creation, meaning talking about Adam, Adam. And there was the first one, and that is the explicit verse of Genesis chapter 2 of the King James Bible. And there you see that in chapter 7, you see the word man are highlighted here, and are also then inserted later on the display of the free of charge eSword software of the King James Bible Plus. And you find here in chapter 2 and 7, you find the word man, and you find in the verse 19, you find the name of the man called Adam. Yeah, and let's look what the Bible has to say about that. Yeah, you see the Lord found the man, it's Hebrew 120, means Adam. Yeah, so when I type in here man, I can enlarge it a bit so that it's more easier to read for anyone. Yeah, so man, Hebrews 120 means Adam. So man means Adam. Adam is man. Yeah, a human being, mankind in general. It's interesting. So it is the same as man is Adam. Yeah. Oh, sorry. There is a minor fault in that. I have to start eSword. Oh, I just discovered a minor flaw in it. Because it's Adam is called Hebrew 121. Was it 27? No, 17. Where was it? Where was I? Here, Adam. Yeah, the same as age 120. So Adam, the name of the first man, also in place of Palestine, the place of Palestine, Adam. Yeah, so the first man, Adam. The first, which is the origin of all offspring bred to come, even of Eve. Is that correct? Yeah. Seems to be logical correct, huh? When God then there was a you see that. Would you like to read Genesis 2:21?
Sure. And the Lord God caused a deep sleep to fall upon Adam, and he slept, and he took one of his ribs and closed up the flesh instead thereof.
Yeah, and the next verse.
Yeah, and the rib which the Lord God had taken from the man, or from man, made he a woman and brought her unto the man.
Yeah, you see? This is man and woman. Yeah, so even the origin of the word of women comes from man, comes from Adam. It's Hebrew 1:20 once again. So even the women have been made by using the material of the first man created, and the first man was created how? It's been depicted yet here in also the chapter 2 of Genesis. Whoops, sorry. We need that special verse here.
Yes, Genesis chapter 2, verse 7, and the Lord God formed man of the dust of the ground and breathed into his nostrils the breath of life, and man became a living soul.
Yeah, that's key to understanding that it has been made by using the material which was already there, the dust of the ground. So because in the first chapter of the Genesis, of course, the earth was created. Before every living being on the earth was created, there had to be a foundation, and that was the earth. And on the earth there were dust, or the earth consists of dust, so to speak. So that means that it was Adam, or mankind, who was created, taking material out of the ground, or off the ground, dust, hence can also mean clay, earth, mud, and then also together the breath of life, which came from God directly. So man became a living soul. So you only have a soul if you consist of material thing, so of the dust of the ground, and the living soul coming through the breath of life. So God is responsible for the breath of life, and not the cutting of the connection between mother and child. Haha. Nobody can explain how it shall originate the autonomous existence of a child when you cut the cord from the mother, Brett. I hope I can express myself properly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So that's an automatic, huh? If you cut it down, yeah, then breathing starts. Yeah. So then the connection to the mother supply has been cut, and out of a sudden the breathing starts, and all the function of your body is running automatically. Huh? Breathing. You can control breathing. Yeah, of course you can control breathing, but during sleep, for example, you can control your breathing. So it is an automatic thing. It's automatically happening. Yeah. So how shall it develop out of a sudden when you cut down the cord to the mother? Patch. Yeah. So that's God. Yeah. But of course, the doctors, they say that no, these are just automatic thinking, that is evolution and all the things out of a sudden. What I find very interesting, that is Adam has been made out of clay or of the dust of the ground, Genesis 2:7. Because look at this. We're talking about Adam. It's talking about Hebrew 1:20. It means Adam, man or mankind, or the first man called Adam. It's used all over again, of course. Every time that Adam has been mentioned, he could also say the first man or the first one of mankind. This is just all over the place, of course. But, and now comes a big but, would you like to compare that to the things to come? And when we compare that now to the atomists, then maybe the one or the other outside will have their aha moment. You see, Adam is usually constantly been mentioned when people from outer space would then go to the so-called Earth. Yeah, Expedition Adam 84. This is a hilarious, funny child series from a Czechoslovakian movie company. It's not important to know at the moment, but you see that when visiting the Earth, when you talk about the prime genius of Earth, Adam has been mentioning quite often. But that's just a minor thing. The big thing is coming up now. Look at this coincidence. There is a pagan deity called Atom. There is a natural philosophy concept of the atomists, and there is an Adam. And it's really interesting to know that we are man, or mankind itself. The most important element of that is carbon. Yeah, and carbon consists of 6 electrons, 6 protons, and 6 neutrons, which sums up to, yes, you guessed it, huh? 6, 6, 6. We have learned in Luke 4 as well as Matthew 4 that we are bound to be deceived by Satan, yeah, in this existence here, because he's been seen as the God of the world, and everything which is materialistic has been given over or handed over to him to prove the people. And that's really easy to do. If I would find the King James Bible, where's my King James Bible? What a shame. There is my King James Bible. So where was I?
You were speaking of 666 and the carbon-based life form.
Okay. Yeah. So then we go. Thank you. Then we are going to Luke 4.
Yes.
Yeah, the temptation of Christ, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
These are the key. These are the key verses.
I'll read them if you like.
Yeah.
And this is Luke chapter 4, verses 5 through 7. And the devil, taking him up to an high mountain, speaking of taking Christ up to a high mountain, showed unto him the kingdoms of the world in a moment of time. And the devil said unto him, which is Christ, all this power will I give thee, and the glory of them. For it is delivered unto me, and to whomsoever I will give it. If thou therefore wilt worship me, all shall be thine.
Yeah, I know we are again using the Blaney version. Sorry that I have not chosen the absolute correct version, but what's the absolute correct version? I can't read Hebrew. Yeah, so this is just also, yeah.
Well, that's exactly right, Michael. I'm glad you bring that up. I had gotten together with Chris Lucas yesterday, and we were talking a little bit about the Bibles. And he was speaking very specifically about the 1599 Geneva Bible. And I was speaking of the 1611 Bible, and we were exchanging our different thoughts. And it's interesting because I've never really looked into the Geneva Bible before, really never crossed my mind. But, you know, I think what's important is those Greek and Hebrew manuscripts that you mentioned. That's really where the faith comes from. And, you know, we are looking for a translation of that Greek and Hebrew to understand what the scriptures are telling us. So yeah, we're very reliant on a proper translation, Michael. If we don't have a proper translation of the old Word of God, the original Word of God, we're in big trouble. Big trouble. So yeah, I'm glad you bring that up.
I would not reckon that there is one infallible version of the translation, although it is divinely inspired. But we cannot know if there is not an error being transmitted anywhere. You see that this is just a man's work. If you think that this is divinely inspired, I'm with you. But only to rely on a Bible, I think you have to have a personal relationship with God. That's the best thing you can come up with.
100% agree with your statement.
No.
It's through prayer and through our repentance and sacrifice that we begin to show our work to Christ in his Spirit. And, you know, what is the Spirit of Christ but the testimony of Jesus Christ through the scriptures? Very important to our faith.
Yeah, and it's very interesting, I think, that when you compare that now to the number of the beast, 666 with 6, they tell you that it is so. Yeah, we don't know. I don't know. I'm not a physicist. But they tell you that carbon exists of this combination, which would be very interesting. Our Dutch brother, Perry Winkel, years ago came up with the same conclusion. Yeah, so 666, it's a very interesting number, the number of the Antichrist. And you see that we are bound to matter. Yes, we are in the flesh. We are sinners. Yeah, so that our flesh is sinful. We lust for the flesh, and the flesh is made of carbon, of 666. Yeah, so we are bound to the materialistic things. We cannot say that we can be gods. We cannot be gods in this flesh. We are bound to matter, to that matter here, carbon. And very interesting when you think about this carbon dioxide, CO2, which we are emitting. Yeah, sure, but we are made out of carbon. What do we expect that we are emitting? Huh? Fire, rain, sunshine, thunder, or what? Yeah, we are emitting carbon dioxide. Yeah, and that is now the big problem for the so-called planet, which isn't a planet at all. Yeah, so all this CO2 agenda also is against man. Yeah, because man were made of carbon. It's very interesting and very key to understand. It's always very simple. It's not complicated what these so-called scientists will tell you. Yeah, it's not the truth. The truth is really simple. It's everything against God and his anointed. Read Psalm 2. Yeah, man is a carbon-based life form. Yeah, so the Bible knew before all the atheistic science knew. Of course, the Bible knew everything. Not naturally, everything which comes from the so-called alternative media is the truth. Yeah, I'm not in line with many of these explanations, but it is so that 666, the hexagram, for example, depicts 666. It's also true that King Solomon, when I remember of the conspiracy series, which will soon be continuing, had made 666 cubits of gold every year, if I remember correctly. Yeah, and 66 also represents a carbon element of 6 protons, 6 electrons, 6 neutrons, and 66 also being, of course, the number of the Vicarius Filii Dei. It's also 666, and 66 also is the sun god. Yeah. So it's all about faith in Christ, and that's what this science is trying to get rid of, so that you believe in their scientists and their science. And the problem is that their science is mutating. Yeah, there's a mutation of science all around the world and everywhere. Yeah, so that is not the absolute truth. This is just the truth from time to time to time, passing on, from Newton to Einstein, from Einstein to who else? I don't know. From atom to quarks, from quarks to Higgs boson, and from Higgs boson to, I don't know. But I think that in 10 years or 20 years, they will come up with another truth, so-called truth. It's like science so-called, it's also truth so-called, but it's not a truth. And of course, people are telling the truth or trying to get to the truth will be labeled as heretics. It's like in the old Rome. If you don't believe in the emperor being the leader and the deity in the same time, then you're a heretic in the view of the state. It's just their view. But these are the people who are making the laws. So it's all about the belief in Christ and in the raising of Christ. That's what it all counts for. It's just John 14:6 once again. I am the way, the truth, and the life. No one gets to the Father but by me. But by Christ, but by Jesus Christ. And I don't care what kind of name you come up with. Let's say Christ. Yeah? Christ means the anointed one. And this has been labeled in or indicated, depicted in Psalms 2. That's the goal, and that's also the similarity to the conspiracy series. And of course, all the series have you can mingle them together. You will come to the same conclusion. If you go into sports, entertainment, media, politics, we'll come to the same conclusion, that everybody who is in power, according to Luke 4 and Matthew 4, has to serve Satan. Yeah, and that's because they have to act to be successful in the satanic world. They have to act against the Lord and against His anointed, and that's Christ. It's easy. The Bible is easy to understand. Yeah, and also the Freemason guy, thinking about the Kennedy assassination, which was a Freemason ritual on the foundation of it all, not seen from the top, but sold to the Freemason as a ritual of Hiram Abiff. Many people allegedly told, we are the gods of the atoms that make up ourselves, but we are also the atoms of the gods that make up the universe. Yeah, so you only have to tell some gibberish, and people will buy your books and think that you are a great one. But carbon is 666 indicated. Yeah, very interesting to know. Yeah, Carl Sagan also against Christ. No? We're made of star stuff. Yeah, this is Carl Sagan is one of the most prominent defender of the materialistic way of life, so to speak. Yeah, it's all the same. But now compare that, please. Yeah, you got an Egyptian so-called god, god so-called, or a pagan deity or whatsoever, called Atom. The first one who created himself from a mound of dust. Then compare that to Greek science of the atomist, of the pre-Socrates Democritus, etc. The atom is the first basic item. Scientists say that we are all made out of stardust, which is carbon. Carbon has 666. and Adam made out of dust. Christians saying from the dust we came, to the dust we shall return. Yeah. So atom, atom, Adam. But it is sure only a coincidence, huh? It must be a coincidence. Cannot be that simple. Yes, it is simple, because science is the new religion, and science always was a religion. Yeah, also Egypt is a religion. So we are talking about that science is making things up. Yeah, atom is not a part which cannot be divided. Yeah, so even the explanation of the name is false. It's fake, it's fraud. We are made out of stardust. Yeah, come on with an example, and come on, please, with the proof. It's all theory. Yeah? But the Bible explicitly said that man, or Adam, was made out of dust. Yeah? The Lord formed man out of dust, or of the dust of the ground. I think it's fair enough to say that there are some similarities here. Dust, dust, and dust. Yeah, and maybe you come up with the old singing song of Kansas, all is just dust in the wind. Yeah. Yeah, but the Bible is absolutely correct and absolutely spot on. And science is just the atheist way of looking into the universe as simply matter without the need of any gods, or God in particular. That's atom, atom, atom. Yeah, you don't have to believe me. Yeah, but please don't believe any people who are just serving the science, so-called, like this guy. Huh? Edwin Aldrin, or Buzz Aldrin, high-ranking 33-degree honorary grade Freemason, allegedly walking on dust, allegedly on the moon. But this is atom. It sounds absolutely the same. It's rendered as atom, or atem. Atem is the German word for breath, or tem, an important deity in Egyptian mythology. Atem's name is thought to be derived from the verb tm, which means to complete or to finish. Thus, he has been interpreted as being the complete one and also the finisher of the word, so the creator. And he has an ankh, carrying an ankh, which means it's a sign of everlasting life and the power over life. Yeah. Which he returns to the watery chaos at the end of the creative cycle. As creator, so as God bred, he was seen as the progenitor of the world, the deities and universe, having received his vital force, or car. Car, by the way, is a small car, a compact car, by the American brand of Ford. Henry Ford.
Are you serious?
Yeah, absolutely. Henry Ford, being a 33-degree Freemason, which received the Adolf Hitler Great Cross of the German Order of Eagle, meaning the successor of the Holy Roman Emperor of German nations.
When did the Ka come out?
Yeah, the car. I will tell you. Try for an English text here. Oh, there's an English text.
Oh, 2020.
No, 1996.
Oh, okay. Really?
Yeah. The Ford car. You see that it's coming from a company, from a 33-degree Freemason who's also been receiving honorary grades from the German Reich. What do you expect?
Wait a second. This is Ford in Europe, not in the United States.
This is Ford in Europe.
Interesting.
Yeah,
Michael.
of course, but the owner is still Ford Motor Company.
Well, right, but
yeah,
I've never heard of a Ford car.
Yeah, maybe it is not familiar in the United States. That might just well
never
be. Never
heard of it.
But as I read this car, I instantly came up with that, and that idea came from Ford Motor Company. Yeah, sure. You see that it's just a vital force in car, and maybe it's just only car. And
no. I interrupted what you were saying about Ford in Europe because there's some really diabolical truth there about Ford, isn't there? Involved in World War II. Yeah. So I don't know much about it, but I do know that there's some very corrupt dealings with with the was it the Third Reich?
Yeah, sure. They are, of course. He wasn't been receiving the cross for nothing, huh? He was supporting also the stuff. You see that many people in the United States were supporting the Third Reich. Think of the Bush family, yeah, with their Standard Oil and all the connections there. Yeah, sure. Well, you see, these people are where the money is.
Yes, the merchants of the earth.
The merchants of the earth, yeah. Yeah, and Henry Ford was in the Palestine Lodge in Detroit, yeah, famous Freemasons. And Mr. Ford also had the same idea as the later President of the United States, Gerald Ford. We will talk about that in the next session of conspiracies. Yeah, both are Freemasons. Yeah, and so I think that to sum it up with the atoms in the first session, it's just a natural philosophy concept to get rid of God.
Yeah,
Why?
didn't Henry Ford, didn't he promote the that propaganda that was created by that Jesuit Abbé Bruel, the protocols of the elders?
Learned elders, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, might be. He was against the Jew, at least. Yeah, needs to say.
Yeah. And here's Albert Einstein, who's Jewish.
Yeah. Albert Einstein, on purpose, not by chance, on purpose. Yeah, you see, the entire theory or the entire purpose of scientific theories, ideas, Nobel Prizes, etc., is to get rid of God, so that man can be as gods. Yeah, so to get rid of God, you have to do something. You have to install a relative view of the earth instead of an absolute view. Yeah, so do what thou wilt means take any stand and have any opinion and be yourself, whatever you like to be. You can have 60 sexes. Yeah, you can be a transgender male, you can be a bipolar woman or what else. You see, do what thou wilt. There are no regulations, there are no foundation anymore. This is just relative.
Bipolar women, what? Where did that come
you see, there are now have 60
oh no.
In Germany now, everybody who's at the age of 14 can choose about his sex, his preferred sex. He can say that, oh no, I feel myself not like a man, I feel myself like a bipolar woman, as a transgender, as I don't know, 60 sexes. Yeah, you see,
right.
Can't imagine that. But you see, that is the theory of relativity. I think serves the purpose of setting the idea in the minds of all the pupils, yeah, at a young age, because they receive good grades if they can tell everything from memory. They are not supposed to think for their own, of course. They don't have to think on their own. They might not think on their own. But the purpose to serve relativism, yeah, so that everything is relative. Yeah, you get away, to let the people away astray from the absolute truth, which is that God and Jesus Christ on the one hand, and Satan and all the materialistic stuff on the other hand. Yeah, it's Antichrist, means it is against Christ the Anointed.
Oh, isn't that interesting, the relation between relativity and irrelevancy? It's all irrelevant.
And that's why I came up with the idea of implementing Kennedy's speech and Q&A from 1960 when he was running for president. In the famous Houston speech, ministerial speech, when he was asked by so-called Protestants about his faith and about the influence on his political views, they came up with quotes from Catholic Encyclopedia, volume 11, page 696, quoting, again, the truth we, speaking of the Catholic Church system, the truth we proclaim under oath is relative and not absolute. And now please take that into consideration with the theory of relativity of Albert Einstein, and you, I hope at least you get my idea of it. The Catholic Church proclaims that truth is relative and not absolute. So the truth is relative to your standpoint, age, gender, etc. There is no absolute truth, means there is no God. Yeah? Every pope is God. or the successor of God on this earth. Every pope, yeah, it's relative. Now it's this pope, then it's that pope. Yeah? And that's when I started with Kennedy and I found that quote, I said, oh, that is so spot on, that I tried to explain everything relative. Yeah, you see that now you got the truth, or you got the truth 2,500 years ago, that the universe, the matter, was consisting of atoms, and these cannot be divided. These are the smallest particles. Yeah, and later on they became quarks, and then you are looking for the Higgs boson, and maybe they are looking then for the another subatomic part. Yeah, so it is relative. It depends on the time what the truth is. So the truth in 1945 is not the same truth as in 1964, and it is not the same truth as in 2019, if you know what I mean. The people in power who are serving Satan, according to Luke 4 and Matthew 4, these are the same people who are guiding the so-called science, and they are handing over Nobel Prizes to people who are following and serving and supporting their agenda. For transhumanism, for gene manipulation and all the things, because they don't serve the God of the Bible. They don't see themselves or mankind as divine created. They just see them as matter, and you can do with matter whatever you like. If you are supreme, if you got a Nobel Prize, if you received an honorary grade, if you are a 33-degree Freemason, then you are not serving Christ. You are not humbling, yeah. You are not serving society. You are just serving yourself, your ego, yeah. And that is relative. So the truth, so-called truth, in science is relative, and not absolute. It's not only in politics. It is here quoting the Catholic encyclopedia. So it's not only limited to science, to sports, to entertainment, but it's in general. In general, they say that we proclaim the truth under oath, which is against the Bible, because the Bible tells you what about oaths, Brett?
Oh yeah, Matthew 5:34. But I say unto you, swear not at all, neither by heaven, for it is God's throne, nor by the earth, for it is his footstool, neither by Jerusalem, for it is the city of the great king.
Yeah. So you're not supposed to take any oath. But if they do so, it is against the Bible. And if they do so, that is not only against the Bible, but of course it's against the truth, because they say that their truth is relative. It depends on whatever condition may be. To save their life, or to promote the agenda, or to promote atomists, or to promote Higgs boson particles, to promote gender equality, to promote transhumanism. What else? Yeah, it's just relative. It's a theory, huh? Theory of relativity. Oh, Theo was God, huh? Yeah, so God is relative. Yeah, you can choose. You can choose among 60 genders. Why don't you choose among 60 million gods? Or be yourself a god. Ye shall be as gods. That's what the Bible told you. Huh? Not the God of this world, of course, but the God that many people are following, the mammon, so to speak. Satan, when he entered in the form of a snake, or under the name of the snake in the Garden of Eden, to the woman, he said, ye shall not surely die. Yeah, and that's the key part of, ye shall be as gods. Yeah, and doctors, scientists are being seen as gods. Oh yeah, they can extend your life, Brett. You only have to take the beep. Yeah, but it's all relative, and that's why they are promoting Einstein. Einstein did not invent anything of importance. Tesla did. These are just theories, yeah, to spin the head of the people. Although his theories can be contradicted, you can prove that they are false, and we know that he was promoting Jesuitical doctrines of Roger Buskovich. Yeah. We had made so many interesting sessions about it. But that is a problem, you see, that when you go to the Catholic heritage history, you see that the truth we proclaim under oath is relative, not absolute. And do you think that it's different when they are not telling you their so-called truth without an oath? Even under oath, it is relative and not absolute. Yeah, it's from their own website. It's on their own books. I'm not making it up. And also it's part of JFK's Q&A. And he says, oh, I'm not familiar with the Catholic encyclopedia. I have to read it in context.
Yeah,
yeah,
that's right.
Yeah, that's coming from Houston Minister's Q&A. Yeah, you can look it up. Yeah, truth relative. Of course, every truth is relative because there is development in science. So the truth of 2022 is not necessarily the truth of 2023. There will be a
like
new variant.
9/11, 2001.
Yeah, there will be another truth in 2022. There will be
what was that?
modifications.
They called it ground zero? What was that supposed to mean?
Ground zero. Yeah, ground zero is the place where an atomic explosion happened.
There we go. Yeah. And
it's
then after 9/11, what did it
explosion.
become? After 9/11, it became the site of the World Trade Center.
Yeah, you see how big this item of atoms is. We are just at the start of it. It's just immense. Yeah, it's immense. Yeah, it's ground zero. Of course, everybody says, okay, ground zero. I know ground zero. That's just 9/11. Yeah. But it's just also in German it says in militaries. Yeah.
Yeah, good old friend Wikipedia, huh?
In a military speech, military language it's a spot on the surface vertically under the location of the explosion of a nuclear bomb. Yeah, and now since the terror attacks on this is also for the WTC. Yeah.
Switch it to English, Michael. Let's see if
I'm switching to English. Yeah.
Let's see if it reads the same.
Yeah.
Oh, no mention of 9/11 here.
Mm. Oh, you did. Peep. Then under 3 there, Trinity, Hiroshima, and Nagasaki. You see, yeah, the Trinity test. Yeah, so that means that they knew before, when they called the Trinity, they knew before, Brad, that they were dropping 3 bombs. Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's a good point.
That's a good point, huh?
That's a very good point. I've never thought of that before, Michael. Me and my sleepy mind here in Minnesota.
Yeah, and Hiroshima, you see that here, even in Hiroshima, 1946, the New York Times reported on the destroyed city of Hiroshima defines ground zero as the part of the ground, etc., especially an atomic bomb. Yeah. Yeah. Hypocenter or ground zero. Huh?
Oh, there's the World Trade Center. Okay, now it's...
Yeah, just wait. Yeah, don't overlook the Pentagon, because the Pentagon has also open space in the center of the Pentagon became known informally as ground zero. It's just a little bit absurd.
Yeah.
Then you got your famous WTC. Yeah. Terrorist means satanic followers, no? Because Satan has been described in Ezekiel 28. It was as a terror.
Yeah, that's right.
Many people do not know that, but actually it is as it is. It is as it's been mentioned in the Bible. Ezekiel 28. It's about the musician called Lucifer. Thou shalt be a terror, and thou shalt be no more. That is something. I think it was there. Yeah, no, terrible. Yeah, there it is. Yeah, Ezekiel 28:19.
Yes, and they that know thee among the people shall be astonished at thee. Thou shalt be a terror, and never shalt thou be any more.
And speaking about a cherub, which was infidel to the Lord.
Yeah, I would say that September 11th, 2001 was a terror, Michael.
Yeah, absolutely. But the terrorist means that these are the followers of the terror, and the terror is Lucifer - Satan. And of course, everybody who's destroying anything is a terrorist, because he's creating terror. Yeah, it's very simple. You see that terrorists are not leaders of a certain Arabic congregation. Yeah, everybody can be a terrorist. If you frighten your neighbor to death, you are a terrorist because you are creating terror.
Yeah.
But it's hard to use language as it is. Yeah, you see that everybody is framed with certain words. Yeah, but coming back to the script, you see that is truth relative? Yeah, in science it is, but it depends on the next development. Oh, I've made a discovery. So that's the old truth. The old truth is not the truth anymore, but the false or the lie. Yeah, so truth is relative in science, and that's what makes it very, very appropriate for all the political leaders in the world. They say, okay, that is the truth of 2022, but it's not necessarily the truth for another part of the world, or not necessarily the truth for the future. Yeah, now our scientists have discovered a much more bigger threat. As a meteor approaching the Earth, and if we don't combine all the efforts of all nations of the world into one world government, we cannot stand against the threat from coming from outside, from the meteor and from the alien nations and from the alien invasion. So, where is the truth? The truth can be found by God because God is absolute. So then you see the absolute truth, which is that the creation of the earth happened by creating the world in 6 days. And on the 7 days, God made a rest and ordered the day to be remembered. And he created the first man of mankind, being Hebrews 1:20, being Adam, made out of dust and not atom. Yeah, so you know that, of course, that when they came up with the idea of atoms being parts who cannot be divided, which we at that moment know that was only the relative truth, because not the absolute, because there are smaller particles that act. They knew, the atomists they knew that their first man was called Adam. Because if Adam was not there in the first place, or would not have been there in the first place, sorry for my bad English, then there were no atomists, because everybody has been a successor of Adam, because Adam was the first one. So it's just a rip-off, a satanic rip-off of words, to come with a pure materialistic concept to get rid of the absolute truth. And therefore you need, or some people, the more smarter ones, yeah, they need some kind of a science, so-called, against the Lord and his anointed, that only consists of pure matter. And this is the natural philosophy of things, which has been originated from atom made out of dust. Huh? So that is just a counter deity called relativity.
Well, yeah, and it's a good laugh for us that know 2 Corinthians chapter 2, verse 8, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Because we know that the absolute philosophy will lead us astray. It's not going to help us out. So why would you want to turn to philosophy anyway when it says second, isn't it second? Oh, I'm sorry. It's Colossians chapter 2, verse 8. I'm sorry. Where did I come up?
Oh, yeah, no problem. Yeah. It's vain deceit, huh? That was it.
Oh, no. Well, not only vain deceit, beware lest any man spoil you through philosophy and vain deceit, after the tradition of men, after the rudiments of the world, and not after Christ.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, it's a laugh to us because we know that philosophy is a work of that metal man image. That's the way I see it. It's a work of the beast.
Yeah, but not them. You see, they have their own truth. Yeah, it depends. Yeah, 2 plus 2
is
not
right.
4.
No, yeah? That's the Black Pope or the Jesuit general for you. Yeah. He lives in the absolute relative reality where there are no absolutes. Actually, there are none. You know, God is a tricky word. Remember?
Yeah, absolutely.
God is a tricky word, according to the Jesuit general. Yeah.
It's a tricky thing to go into the atom, but I think we did it well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So that you really see what it's all is. It's just a counter concept, and that science really is a religion because you believe in your science, you believe in matter, and you believe in the teachings of men instead to believe on the teachings of God, that you are a divine creature. You believe, if you believe the scientists and your science, you believe that you are dead matter, that you are nothing of importance.
13 thoughts on the truth is relative.
Yeah.
Why
Yeah.
13?
Yeah. And you come also with all these philosophers and all these guys, you see that I don't care what these people are coming up with. You see, you can go endlessly in all the lies of Satan, but this science is for the smarter people who are then been captured by Satan into believing that, oh yeah, you can explain everything with science. I make you so smart. Ye shall be as gods. But what kind of God are you when you have to die anyway, and when you only consist of some matter? And the absolute truth isn't there, but the relative truth that just only man consists of carbon and without any spirit and just of carbon 666. And you are then, yeah, you are just then the prey of Satan.
Mm-hmm.
You just prey. You're just a victim. Yeah, you fell for the lies of Satan. Yeah. The truth we proclaim under oath, this is a German translation, is relative and not absolute.
Yes.
Yeah? So, that's it. Yeah. All this futile, it just serves the agenda. Yeah, the Nobel Prize in Chemistry 2020. Look, yeah, Jennifer A. Doudna, for the development of a method for genome editing. Genetic scissors, a tool for rewriting the code of life. Ye shall be as gods.
Do as thou wilt.
Yeah, absolutely.
Genetic scissors. Oh yeah, let's just change it all. Yeah.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah, you want to be an ape? Oh, they will make you an ape. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. If you believe then in evolution theory, you think that your originators were apes. Yeah. What a stupid concept, but these people think they are smart, but at the same time believing in a concept that they were just originally were apes. Oh my. You see that whoever came up with the ratio studiorum, you see that they will have a great time. Yeah, it's
right.
It's unbelievable.
For their entertainment, yes.
For their entertainment, yeah. How easily the people fall for all the lies. It's a very, it's not that easy subject, huh?
No, it's not. It's the atom.
It's the atom, yeah. It's one. It's another distraction, actually. It's the atom. Yeah, it's science. It's also the same as the NASA. It's science, so-called. It's hilarious how many physical laws you can name to prove that they are lying to you, but yeah, people just simply believe the television, the satanic family altar. And the atom age it's very interesting when we go into the atom age and all the next things. You see, we are at the moment on page 60 of about 600. Yeah, so please expect that this series will continue on Science is the New Religion. I got so many material which I would really like to share, and as you've seen in this session, that we have also implemented a great deal of the Bible. Yeah, it's really a handful.
Thank you for that, Michael. Thank you for the European view as well, because we can't see it all from the States here.
Mm-hmm.
That's for sure. That's for sure. There's a lot more going on in the world than what's going on in the United States, which is not all that great sometimes.
And then you got sorry, this is just noise here. No, I was just looking at the trailer here, and I thought I could enhance that here, but I thought it was very compelling and very fitting here for the genetic scissors.
Oh,
Terrifying.
yes.
Transformation of man into monster. Yes, with genetic sisters, no problem. Yeah.
It almost looks like a black cat there, and
Yeah.
makes me think of my little cutie.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's all right.
I didn't want to disturb him. Yeah, but you see that it's not funny at all. You see that these people are frightening the people, and these people
Well,
doing that on
that's true.
purpose.
Yeah.
Yeah, these are doing it on purpose. There are so many things which are absolutely untrue. And if you really compare scientific or physical laws to that theory of the atoms, then there will be not much left. Yeah, sure, we are consisting of carbon. Yeah, but guess who created carbon in the first place? Oh, just a small hint. It was not the Big Bang. It was
No.
not the soup. Yeah, it was not rain. Oh my.
Well, and this gets to the bigger picture, Michael, that it's just such an incredible miracle that we have a life and a soul, and we can pray to God and we can ask him for his help in understanding these things, because quite frankly, they're not that easy, in the sense that when you are born into a corrupt system and your parents don't necessarily adhere to any kind of work in the spiritual realm, rather, they have their own, what can we say, challenges in life, and they might not choose the same approach as you do, dear listener, or Michael or I. We have our own approaches, and sometimes they differ quite large. They're not similar, and sometimes they are. So it's a very touchy. Yeah, you could say that's relative. Yes, you can, but it's not irrelevant. That's for sure. It's all to do with coming down to what is pure religion anyway. Bible tells us what pure religion is. But if we rely on ourselves, then we get something different, don't we? We have to deny the self. That is the fundamental truth, as far as I'm concerned. It's just, you deny self, and then the Lord can work with you, because you've given up. You've given up on a false hope that this world gives you. And we've all gotten false hope, I believe, Michael, in one form or another. It always comes in ways that we don't expect. Or maybe we do, but it comes. So thank you, Michael.
You see here, but what you see here in that picture, to sum it up before you close it down, Brett, is a temple. It's a belief in science. It's a belief in man. Yeah, that's just like a temple. It's very sad, but all these monuments and all this architecture, these are just serving the purpose of glorifying the materialism, the matter, instead of God. It has nothing to do with God here. It has everything to do with deception, everything to do to get people away from God. And that's what Brett and I think, have the task of getting the things into balance, that you really see the other side of it when you are being bombarded from the mass media and all their deceptions, that you now then compare that to the Bible, and then you see that it is just a concept. This is nothing with truth. This is just relative from their standpoint to serve them into becoming more supreme beings of the word and so-called gods, but it has nothing to do with truth, because their truth is always relative, which is best suited for them. Thank you very much, Brett.
Oh, you're welcome, Michael. Thank you for bringing us this message all the way from Germany to the States in English and around the world. For those of you that might be in Australia or Canada or any other English speaking peoples in any part of the world, really. And yeah, it's a blessing and an honor to be here and to be able to work through these things, because really this is the trouble on earth is, I think it's in Revelation 12 where it speaks of the troubles. And this is, it's not something that we can change. It's a fact of the matter, especially those of you that have faith. Even if you have a little bit of faith, you have faith. And if you pray to God, he can help you grow in your faith. So it's a matter of prayer. It's a matter of doing your own study and knowing the scriptures on your own, independent of any other soul. And that's really what it comes down to, is becoming a responsible adult and being willing to take a chance in this life and making a stand against the powers of darkness that are trying their best, their level best, to take the position of Christ. So we'll catch up with you next time in the series. Looking forward, Michael, to what you have in the coming sessions, and we'll catch up with everyone then. Maranatha.